We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Swear to God, I'm gonna buy you. I'm the one that's gonna pay.
Morning, welcome to the August 5, 2024 work session of the Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. My name is Kevin Cook. I serve as the chair this year. Joining me today is Commissioner Aaron Mays. Good morning.
Good morning.
Commissioner Bill Rippon. Good morning.
Good morning.
Our county councilor, Mr. Eckert.
Good morning.
And right on cue is our financial administrator.
Share mixture. Good morning, sorry. Jennifer Sauer, Financial Administrator. I am here this morning to give you guys a overview of the first 6 months of 2024 and let you guys know how our revenues and expenditures are looking so far this year as compared to the budget and as compared to the prior year. And this is probably going to be the last year you see it in this or the last time you see it in this version. We will be switching over to using Questica, our budget software, to be presenting this in the future, but I just do not have all these charts prepared in that system quite yet. So starting off on our revenue, sorry, this is the slide that I thought was important and I wanted to get you an accurate one. Our 2024 year-to-date revenues are performing just a little above our budget year-to-date, as well as above last year's year-to-date. Primarily, the area that is increased is our property taxes, which is budgeted and also coming in just a little faster than it has in previous years. So right now, we don't have as many delinquencies as we have in the past. You can see that here in our property taxes. This year, our property taxes so far have come in at $102,755,000, and we were budgeted to come in at $100,180,000. This is an increase over last year to date of $92,630,000. So we, so far this year, are seeing an influx of our property tax revenue of about $10 million from this time last year. Our other tax revenues are showing year-to-date, we've received $8.3 million, budgeted at 8.5, a little under 8.6. And last year to date, so far, we would have received $8.4 million. So this is, unlike property taxes, this is coming in a little slower than normal. This would be motor vehicle tax, all of the taxes that you pay over on the motor vehicle side, RV, and your large trucks. As well as our city, county, highway tax, franchise tax, all their various taxes.
Would interest be included in that too?
No, it would not.
Okay.
Our charges for services, these are the services that our various departments charge for the services that they perform. Currently this year, we have received $3.3 million. We budgeted at 3.5. So we're coming in a little less than what we budgeted, but when you compare us to the prior year, we are coming in a little above what our revenues for 2023 were.
Do you have the areas where you're behind what we thought we would be? Is it in a specific area or is it just spread?
It's pretty much across the board. There's a couple areas that we thought were going to be a little higher. It's pretty much each area is just a little under where it was budgeted. We did have a couple items that were budgeted for charges for services in the courts that we learned we are no longer receiving. So that's part of it. And again, we're doing better than we were last year for the services. It's just not as well as we predicted in the budget. Which is made up for by other revenue. And this does include our interest. So far we budgeted at $5.2 million in other revenue, and year to date we brought in 7.2. So another factor that could be between this slide and the previous slide Our Parks and Rec Department is budgeting, or is recognizing their revenues much more detailed than they budgeted. So there may be some items that are showing up as other revenue that they actually had budgeted just in charges for services. So that could be a small factor for the Parks and Recs area.
Is your other revenue going to be the Gage Park Improvement Authority?
No, this is only for the general fund.
Right.
So this is the summary slide of all of the revenues. As you see, property taxes is far and away the largest part of our revenues. So far, we have received 84% of our revenues are for property taxes. That slide will come down a bit over the year. But for the most part, it's gonna stay right around this area for our property taxes. We are predominantly funded by our tax dollars at the county level. Which brings us to our expenditures. Our expenditures so far to date, we have spent $62,500,000. Our budgeted expenditures at this point in the year would have been at $65 million. Did I say thousand for expenditures? Sorry. These are millions, 62 millions versus 65 millions. Last year, we had spent 59 million at this point in the year. So our expenditures are up a touch, and I'll break that down into the various areas as we go through the next couple slides. Law enforcement expenditures are right on budget. They could not be any closer, really. They are higher than last year's expenditures, but they are sitting right at a touch over 33 million, and that is right where they had been budgeted at this point in the year. Recreation expenses are down from the budgeted amount, down from the amount that they had spent last year at this point. So far, they have spent $9.6 million. Their budget would have been allocated out to about $11 million at this point in the year. Public Works is spent 5.8 million, almost 5.9 million so far through June, and their budgeted allocation would have been right under 6.4 million. So they are a touch under budget and also just a touch under their expenditures from last year. Our health department is following the trend, and they're about $500,000 under their allocated budget year to date. They have spent $4.2 million, and their budget would be allocated about 4.7. They are showing an increase over last year's to date expenditures because, as you know, many of the COVID grants went away in 2024. So there was an increase to their budget, therefore more of their programs are being funded by the county versus the federal grants. Administrative services is very close to their budget. This far into the year, we would be expecting a budget of $8.7 million in expenditures, and we are spending $8,650,000 in expenditures. Year to date, last year we spent 8.3, so our expenditures are also up just a touch over last year, but staying within our budget. Our debt service is just right on the budgeted amount. That's not unusual, and so far this year it is right on, no changes from the prior year. Here is our summary of our expenditures by category, and as you see, our law enforcement is the largest portion of our budget by far. And as we discussed as we went through, pretty much everyone is showing the same type of scale. Law enforcement has spent a little more of their budget to date, but everybody else, and including them, are right at their budget, just a little under. And here is just a pie chart of that exact same bar chart that you just saw, in case you're a person who prefers a pie, like I am. That's a quick summary of our first 6 months of the year.
Jennifer, you started out by telling us this will be the last time we see this budget presentation in this form.
Correct.
As we switch over to the Questica software, what things would we look at in the future? What would be some of the changes to anticipate?
I'm not sure how much you will notice on your end, but on our end, what we will notice is this is a very manual process. The process that Betty has always done and the process that goes into creating this, this PowerPoint. Our Questica software dumps all of our actuals from our system into the budgeting software, and then it does all these calculations itself. It has everything categorized in the appropriate spot. It is doing these budget to actual comparisons already. The departments are able to see these. One of the functions that it has that we haven't been able to take advantage of yet because we were trying to get our budget out so quickly is we can actually budget these at a department level. We can budget to where if we have an expenditure that isn't budgeted to be spent until October, it's not going to show that you're under budget and then suddenly, oh, you've met your budget. It's going to show that you are right on budget until October comes, and then it'll just show you as spending the money when you had expected to spend the money. So we have that ability in our Questica software, and that's something that Betty has built into some charts, but if anybody varies and has an expenditure that happens at a different time, it's a very manual process.
While we're looking at this chart right now, at this time showing, again, year-to-date, not the full year, but year-to-date, 84% of the revenue coming from property tax. And again, I know that we've had this discussion multiple times, but since we're here on a work session and the public can be watching, what are other things that we could do as a county? Are there other things we could do as a county to offset that revenue from property tax to something else?
Well, we are bound by statute in how we collect our property tax. So we don't have a whole lot of wiggle room in that arena. Taxes in general are set by the state of Kansas, not by us. Our other options are more programs in our departments, more federal money that we are trying to find, other sources of revenues. As far on the revenue side, that's really about all the room that we have. We did, when we purchased our Questica software, we also purchased from the same vendor a grant tool. And that grant tool is helping our departments research and find other grant opportunities that exist. And it's again, doing a lot of the heavy lifting for them. They can kind of create some search tools and they can just get notified anytime something new appears in that category. So they don't have to spend a lot of time going out and manually looking every single week. And when it does find a grant, it brings back a one-page summary of the grant as opposed to the 50 to 100-page document that you have to read through normally as you're looking for whether or not you want to consider a grant.
Questions? Bill?
Yeah, under expenditures, recreation, I noticed they're quite a ways, they're quite a bit lower than budgeted and lower than last year. What do we contribute that to?
I haven't had a chance to talk to Parks and Rec about that. My first assumption was going to be that we may be, I'm not sure that we're utilizing very much of the Gage Park Improvement Authority money yet. So I'm not sure if they're just timing wise. It could just be a timing issue in being able to get some of their projects completed. I know they've been very busy with some large projects, trying to get them done and out.
Commissioner Mays? Thoughts, questions?
Well, I mean, I don't want to get overly optimistic, but it looks good, but I know that, you know, what you said with, like, we know exactly how much property tax revenue has been billed out for the year. It's just that people seem to be paying it this year instead of holding off. So while it looks like we're bringing in a lot more money, we're probably gonna end up bringing in about the same, it's just coming in faster. Is
Correct.
that what you're saying?
Yes, absolutely. So we will
Yeah.
have another, this would have been through June, so this would have shown all of our collections through our June timeframe. But there's gonna be some that come in for the last half, so it could be people are paying the full as opposed to just half at a time. So we'll find out more in the next couple months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that was brief and
I know,
succinct.
sorry.
While we're all here, I know that we're gonna be going into budget, we're at that time. So the next step for budget process is, do you wanna talk about
Yeah.
next couple steps?
Yes, absolutely. So, at Thursday's meeting, we will be discussing our capital improvement program. Starting those discussions, we have, several requests from our departments for, capital improvement projects. And, we'll go through those with with you, commissioners, and let you discuss what your priorities are for 2025. And then on Monday, during Monday's work session, Monday the 12th, we'll be finishing those discussions hopefully. And then on August 15th and 22nd, we will be discussing our 2025 budget. So letting you guys kind of look through all the requests that have been made to date from all the departments and seeing if we can find any other areas to try and cut that back, probably.
Okay. Any other questions? Commissioner Mays?
No?
All right. Commissioner Rippon?
Nothing to add.
All right, well, thank you very much, Jennifer.
Thank you very much.
This brings us to public comment. Is there any member of the public that wishes to comment? Seeing none. That brings us to administrative communications. Is there any department head or employee that wishes to address the commission? Seeing none. Commissioner Mays, anything?
Election day tomorrow.
Yes, it is. Commissioner Rippon?
Get out and vote.
Yep, I concur. So I guess with that, we'll see you on Thursday.